Hey kids, welcome back to another episode of Todd's House of Speed. Today we're going to be talking about our Porsche and specifically the transmission. It has a 915 trans, which is original to the car, and I'm having an issue with it, and we're going to try to do some maybe magic in a bottle to fix it. So there's some issues with it that it doesn't shift right, and I spent a lot of money having it redone anyway. So we're going to get into that, and we'll show you what may or may not fix it and why we're here. All right? Stay tuned. So what's going on here? So, and this is going to be also part of a series I'm going to mention in the future when you're restoring a car, doing major work, a trap that and I've done a lot of stuff that a lot of people fall into. It's almost always a lack of either time and or money, and usually it's both. So what's the story? So why are we doing this today? So I'm doing some spring maintenance on this. Years ago, I sent this transmission out, so I totally redid this car. Like a lot of things, life got in the way, and things unforeseen. And what's the two things we need? We need time and money, and a lot of it. I don't care what you're working on. So I do most everything myself. So the story on this is, I took this car completely apart except for the rear glass, and I stripped it. Essentially a total restoration on it. And one of the things was the transmission was shockingly shifting poorly. And it had, I think at the time, about 90,000 miles or whatever, and a very typical synchronizer issue in the 915. I picked somebody on the West Coast, not that was necessarily bad, to have them rebuild it. And at the time, I'm not going to say money was no object, but I had a few bucks to burn. Through a Porsche forum, this shop was highly recommended. And man, I sent that thing, it was all the way out in California. I don't know, I just couldn't find anybody local at the time to do it. Essentially, I didn't get what I paid for. That's just what happened. Now, I didn't know that because by the time I got the transmission back, there were some parts that was delayed on the engine. I was still working on the car. And what ended up, should have been just a few months, ended up being like 10 years, okay, before I could, or even longer, because this thing sat for a while, well, as I say, life got in the way. And so the short story is, once I finally had the time and yes, the money to dedicate to this, because these are not inexpensive. They are not. I took it for a test drive and the transmission shifted like crap. Like crap. I don't think, I was so upset, but here's the thing, it had been 15 years or something since I had the guy do it. I'm not even sure if they're in business anymore. So what am I going to do? I was looking through the parts list and stuff, and he really didn't fix what I asked him to fix. He kind of bubble gum and duct tape and put some synchronizers in it and a couple of bearings, and it was like $3,500. Like $3,500, and that was like in 2007, 2008. So what am I going to do now? Again, I can't go back to the guy and say, hey, man, as far as he knows, I've driven the car 100,000 miles. So anyway, lesson learned, okay? It's on me. It's on me at this point. So it doesn't shift well, and I've got some of the best one of the best shifters you can buy for these, and they are not cheap, $1,000 or something, and a coupler and all this trick stuff. And it still shifts like crap. So what we're going to try to do today is, not to draw this out, is the only thing I know I'm going to take the transmission back out. I know it, and I'll tell you why. Because now the ratios don't suit me. The engine makes so much more power. So that's going to be another time. But right now I'm trying to make the car so we can at least enjoy it. So I'm going to drain out the fluid, and I went to a completely different manufacturer, and I've had this issue before. And this particular manufacturer of this oil is very good. I have a lot of experience. So Today we're going to be draining it out, and I'll show you what I'm going to put in it, and then we're going to see how essentially it works out. Okay, so y'all stay tuned. All right, so we're underneath the car and looking at the transaxle here. Here's the fill plug, and then directly underneath, there's our drain. Just from experience, from decades of doing this, and not just like working on these, is always make sure before you drain the fluid, you're draining the right thing. Okay, in this case, all the fluid is the same, so the transmission transaxle share the same fluid. Believe it or not, I've seen inexperienced mechanics, technicians make this mistake. Okay, that's the first thing. So make sure that, and this only has one drain, one fill. But before you drain, make sure you can get the fill plug out. And I have seen this more times. And this is on anything. It's not just today here. I've seen this where we're in a hurry to get the fluid out, and then we go and the plug is actually seized to the case where somebody has over tightened it previously or whatever. It's a good idea. It's a great idea, actually. Make sure that you take the fill plug out, period. That's the first thing you do. And it also helps ventilate. Now, I know that all the transaxles, differentials, and all that kind of stuff, they all have a vent, but it does help ventilate it and make it come out just a little bit faster. So what I did is I used a short bolt and double nutted it and jammed it, and then I'm going to use that. All right. So I got my tool here, and that plug was in there because I put it in there. I didn't want it to fall out, y'all. Just saying. Okay. Get underneath here on the drain. All right, got the drain broke loose. And I think my pan is just big enough for both of these. I'm gonna say that. Guess I'm gonna find out in about 2 seconds. All right, and there it goes. We've got, I don't know if you all can see, so this is the drain plug. It's got a magnetic piece, as well as the engine has the very similar drain plug with a magnetic piece. And there's, let me get out here in the light a little bit. And I've kind of got yeah, there you go. So a little bit of material in there. I haven't looked at the oil yet. So I'm going to clean this. It's actually better than I expected. So I'm going to put this back, clean it, put it back in, pull the oil drain pan out, and we'll take a look at the oil. All right, so we're going to go down here, and we're just going to take our screwdriver and see if we see anything. Some of those dark spots are actually a little bit of oil on the engine from, I think, the valve cover gasket, so that did not come out of the transmission. I was doing a little bit of cleaning. All right, well, not terrible. I don't see anything shiny or a bunch of brass in there. All right, so we drained the transmission fluid, the oil, and it didn't look too bad, actually. And here's the thing. So if you consult pretty much any online forum, they're going to tell you the product to use in this transmission, the 915, is Swepco, and it's spelled just like it sounds. And God forbid, literally, if you try anything else. So since this thing, it's like, I don't know if I said this earlier, but man, when this thing, even when it's warm, the oil is warm and been driving it, and you shift from first to second, it's like you almost got to send an email to second gear synchronizer, so it goes in. I mean, and then hope the second gear opens it, I mean, it's that bad at times. Other times it's very slick. And so I think what's happened is, and I'll just be honest, I didn't get, as I said earlier, I didn't get what I paid for. I'm not going to call out these guys because I had the transmission for years before the car was ever under its own power. So there's really nothing I can do. And that's one of the things that when you're doing a project and you have something major like that, even people that are supposed to have a really good or excellent experience with it, they really didn't do what I asked them to do. And it's okay. I mean, there's really nothing I can do now. It's I didn't project that the car was going to sit another 12 years or whatever before I touched it. So anyway, so I'm going to try the oil here. I'm deviating from Swepco, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to put in. So I don't know if this is a commercial for Redline, but this specific, the 7590 NS, is a, it says full synthetic, but here's the thing. So this transmission really, the synchronizers really need somewhat of a drag. So it's synthetic, but it's designed for this type of transmission. And there's a few other, it has the 915 really, believe it or not, is an excellent transmission for what it was designed for. The thing is, it's like right now I've got other projects. I don't want to pull the transmission back out. And also once driving it with the new engine, I mean, man, this thing makes a lot of power. I mean, a lot more. Like the original engine was rated at 217, I think, at the crank. And this combination right here, let me spin this around. So this combination here is supposed to make, I haven't had a dyno, but it's supposed to make with this cam and the VRAM intake, which is the giant black crazy looking intake off a later 964. This engine is supposed to make right around 305 to 310 horsepower with a lot of torque. That's about the limit of the 915, and I've driven this pretty aggressively. So the problem is with first gear, it's actually now it's too short. This engine has enough power that when you accelerate in first gear, it runs out of breath before you can get it into second. I need a taller first gear so it's closer to the ratio of the split between first, second, third, and fourth. It's just a personal preference. The first gear is just too short, essentially. So when I say I need a taller numerically, so it's using the engine instead of a short gear that's in it. So I'm gonna have to take the transmission back out anyway. Anyway, that's just one of those things. Right now, I'm gonna try the oil. I've used Redline products in the past in my drag bike and a few other things, and in certain applications, there is no equal to Redline, I promise you. And I actually had a BMW manual transmission that was a kind of the same thing going on, and I tried their Redline's oil, and it made a noticeable improvement. So it's not magic in a bottle, but I'm just looking for something that it just will shift, even if it's 20% better, because it's time to change the oil anyway. Okay, so that's what I'm going to put in it. I've got a suction gun, and I'm going to draw basically the oil out of here, and I've got a simple fluid suction gun, and I'm going to do the shuffle, the 1-2 shuffle, like suck it out, put it in until it runs out. Okay. So this is I've actually found a bottle of this. I didn't really think I had anything left. Because this thing takes, if you drain it completely, it's 3 1/3 of a quart or something. And the short story is, or actually maybe it's a little bit more than that, but I have some left over. Any case, that's what it is. That's the product. It's called Swepco, but it's 201. It's their version, so that's the holy gospel according to them. So we're going to see, man. Hey, everybody. So as you notice, I've got a sweater on, and it's been a little while since I changed the oil in the trans. And what do I say, like time? Not enough time even to make and finish this video. So just a few things. So what we're going to do is I want to take a driving video, and that's what we're going to do. I got a GoPro in the car, and we're going to go test it. I'm not going to kind of reveal what happened, but I want to show you. And I'll get a mic with me, and we'll go test drive this thing and just see how well or not it shifts, okay? So come on along, all right? I'm going to back this thing out. Seatbelt on, safety first. Sun's kind of low in the sky. So the transmission's a little bit cold. Because man, it's cold out here. But I noticed right away it shifts pretty good. We'll go out here. So one thing I noticed right away, it feels lighter in between the like 1-2 chain. Roll up to a stop sign like this and it would be kind of hard to engage. Better already. So with these, man, you got to push it. You're completely disengage the clutch all the way to the floor. Yeah, I can already tell. Yeah. So to me, already that it feels lighter, I guess. The changes. It used to feel kind of like the shifter was in mud, not necessarily the linkage, but just you could really feel the engagement. So I'm in 4th gear right now, just kind of lobbing along, like 45, give or take. So let me downshift. So a lot of times, until the transmission got really warm, before, if you tried to downshift, it was about a 50-50 chance, even if it was something like that it would. So yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty good improvement, y'all. So I'll go up here a little ways and turn around. That's another thing. So it's definitely a little bit easier at the stop here to get it in the gear. There's a lot of traffic this evening. All right, so go up here and kind of get into it a little bit. So I think it made a, well, I don't think, I know, made a big difference in shifting. Transmission's still not right. You might, yeah, actually, so we're still in 4th. You might, I don't know how good this mic is picking up, but the gear whine is basically not supposed to be there. And it's because the gears, there's too much clearance from too much wear. I mean, you know, anyway, that's just what it is. So, actually 4th gear is not the only one that does it. But, anyway, the time being, that fluid made a big difference. I say a big, I don't know, is it 50% better? I'd say almost, or easily. I don't know, maybe easily. It was more than a noticeable. And the more I drive it, the better it gets. So let's downshift again. That was pretty smooth. Back and forth. Yeah. Going into first, man, sometimes it's almost impossible. Like that, like slowing down. Cool. Let's see if I can thread this thing right back inside here. All right, 2 thumbs up. That made a big difference. I can tell you, huge difference. All right, everybody, so we're back at the shop, and that was actually a huge success. You know, I think the one thing I wanted to, let me start over. All right, everybody, I'm back at the shop. That fluid made a big difference. Now, I wouldn't call it a Band-Aid, but it certainly made up the difference, made the car at least drivable and enjoyable. Just regular shifting and under power. So here's the one takeaway. I would say, don't ignore technology. Don't ignore advancements in, I don't care what it is, lubricants, engine parts, I mean, real advancements, like improvements. That Swepco stuff was, I don't know how long that stuff has been around, but that's basically dinosaur oil. And I mean, it is formulated for this transmission. But in this case, if this transmission shifted perfect, I would still put the red line in it. And the red line is made specifically for this. And so it's kind of one of those things where don't be afraid to try something that's proven. I mean proven. And Redline is, man, a top tier, in my experience, top tier supplier of lubricants. And if you have an application or something, transmission differential or whatever, I really don't think there's anybody, a lot of players out there, but I don't think there's anybody with the proven background experience. And you can call them and you can say, hey, I've got this, in this case, vintage Porsche with a 915, what's the spec oil? And they'll tell you, and order online anyway. So just goes to show you that you don't have to get stuck, you know, in the last 20 years or whatever it is, somebody typing away in their mama's basement about oh, you have to use Swepco. It's, oh, you can't use anything else. So I just proved it wrong. I just proved it big time. And when I get this transmission redone, I'm going to continue to use it because it's a much more modern, advanced formulation. So that's my tech tip today. Don't be stuck in the past with lubricants and things like that, or be fooled by marketing or names. Redline's a real deal, man, and they have a lot of different products, a lot. All right. So thanks everybody. 1 thumbs up. I got my other thumb holding. I'm recording. So just really thank everybody for watching, subscribing. My channel is growing. Man, I love it. It's just really cool to do the work, get it on, get it recorded, and share it. And I've had people with my other videos say, man, I didn't know that, or I never knew that existed, or you could do that, and man, and it fixes that, and I don't even know who they are, but all the work benefited somebody. It wasn't just me. Okay, does that make sense? And that's why I do my channel. I do. I get a big kick out of sharing literally a life of information, lifelong. So thank you all so much. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. See ya.